I call to order the workshop meeting for November 1st, 2022 at 5 p.m. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Vescoviak.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
He's here.
He's here, out in the hallway.
Councilmember
Marty.
Stoyl. He's here. Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, let's start off communication from the mayor. The message is none. Okay, communication from the public.
I only have the one letter from the lighthouse that was put in the council mailbox. And it's a letter from the lighthouse asking that the city consider helping them to prevent erosion and basically try to help the lighthouse. Looks like try to put up a seawall.
Can we read the whole thing in the regular part of the meeting?
I will read that.
Okay. Let's go to reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilwoman, let's go. Okay. Councilman Stoyl?
Nothing here.
Councilwoman
I know
Nichols.
Richard's not here, so I can't answer the question. The question was, and we discussed it kind of between us at the last meeting, is what changes can we be made, like when we have short meetings such as this, how we can change the time frame that a regular meeting starts, that it should proceed right after the workshop, instead of set in stone like it is at 5:30 now. That was all what we had talked about before. But Richard's not here right now, so.
I'm taking his place tonight and I agree.
Yeah. Okay, well, we can take that. Go ahead.
If we can't do that, you have to do a public hearing on that other, start this meeting.
There was a time when there was a councilwoman at large, she didn't have these.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do a meeting.
No, exactly.
Hey, you're listening. You guys are telling the same story, and then we gotta listen to it out there again.
Right.
This is
We
just.
can't do anything in here, we can vote on it out there.
Right, this is just a prep, correct.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, these, when I first came on, these meetings were not being had, and then what happened is that the council members at that time decided that we needed a meeting so that we could discuss some of the issues or questions could be brought forth at this meeting instead of the official.
Right.
So that's why this is happening. But in my opinion, this council doesn't seem to be, understanding what this meeting is actually for. This is where you ask the questions so that the formal meeting is formal. So, in my opinion, I agree that this could be a waste of our time if we're not going to use it for what its intended purpose is.
Thank you. Okay. All right, well, we'll put that under advisement to Richard. Anything else, Councilman? All right. The only thing I have is I'd like to set the schedule for the budget review. So as council has talked, we're going to try to go this Saturday at 10.
I was here this Saturday,
I missed you.
I couldn't get in.
So just department heads, obviously, we know we have to do this. What we're looking at is this Saturday from like 10 to 1, next Tuesday at 5:15, and then if we have to double back in the following Saturday, or if we have to bring one more night session in, hopefully we can catch that all in 4 sessions.
What time on Saturday?
10 a.m. So right now, Chief Edwards, you're looking for Saturday morning. Randy, you're good? Mike? Yes, sir. And then Marcia and Mark? Okay, so we got a full slate for this Saturday. That's a good place to start.
Tuesday, you said Tuesday the 8th. I think there's a DLD, there is a DLDC.
No, I don't think we're gonna have it on Tuesday. We didn't get enough positive responses.
Yeah, because before I came up here, I checked the schedule in the clerk's office. It's open, there's nothing scheduled.
They moved it to Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
they did move it to Wednesday.
Tentatively, right?
yeah.
So you're gonna have a Tuesday the 8th election night?
I already voted. Well, I didn't bring my sticker.
Should be meeting in the lunch.
It's,
Okay.
Want me to
So,
read that?
yeah, would you please?
Yes.
And one other thing, under standing committees, we have, Ed, we have a notice of public meeting.
A notice of public hearing, please take notice that the public hearing, the mayor's proposed 2023 city budget will be held on November 15, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. And the mayor in the Common Council Chambers, City Hall, 342 Central Avenue. All interested citizens will have an opportunity to give written or oral comments on the proposed 2023 city budget at that time. The proposed city budget is available for public inspection at the city clerk's office, City Hall, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. daily. And then it goes into the details of the budget.
Thank you. Okay, unfinished business.
None, sir.
Pre-filed resolution, 88.
Number 88, resolution authorizing the agreement for advanced life support intercept services, WCA Services Incorporated, and the city of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council?
Mike, would it be through you, Mike, that you would do a report on that?
Sure. Hearing nothing, 89.
Number 89, resolution accepting grant for Summer Better Than Others Camp, Chautauqua County.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none. Let's move on to new business.
None, sir.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Nichols?
I got Nichols with a second and by Stoyl.
Councilmember Lespoviac, Councilmember Bamanto, Councilmember Stoyl, Councilmember Nichols, Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, adjourn. Well, that's what I'm looking to be on the screen. I'll get a schedule down here. So I can tell you what I know. This
I saw that, wasn't
Read this.
I swear, boy,
You get water.
Yes.
We're almost ready. I would say another 35 seconds.
Yeah. She's taking over my term.
Either that or causing
Not
them.
anymore. If you're going to adjourn. She fucking screams at me.
Let's call to order the regular meeting, November 1st, 2022.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Here.
Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Here.
That's what
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, certification of prior meeting.
This is to certify that the official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, October 18, 2022 was presented to the mayor on Monday, October 24, 2022. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness where I have here to set my hand and the seal of the City of Dunkirk, New York, this first day of November 2022.
Can I have a motion to dispense with reading of minutes? I got Nichols. Second by Bamanto.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case that individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large D'Amico shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limit specified shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
Thank you. Privilege of the floor is now open.
My name is Richard Maku, 747 Deer Street, Dunkirk. Nothing I have to say today is derogatory against anyone. I would like to first commend the Dunkirk Police Department for the raid of a drug house in my block. The only thing wrong with that is there's no bail because of a state law from the state governor. Therefore, those same people were arrested by our officers and are back in the same house that was raided earlier. But it seems our city court judge was responsible for the no bail law way before it was a state law. Our city court judge is now also responsible for dismissing valid tickets from the police department. This is all yes or no. Is this all true or not? My next concern is the thefts that are occurring at the Walgreens store and the dollar store in the same area of Walgreens. It is so bad that I heard, of course I heard, the Walgreens store is thinking about leaving Dunkirk. Is this all true or not? The city cannot afford to lose any more businesses than we already have lost, especially the downtown area. Especially the empty lot, which is located across from City Hall. A victim from a fire has not been considered to be replaced by another parking lot. All this from the Rosas administration. No stores have been active in our downtown business district, all vacant. That was once a busy area. And what are the answers from all this? Are the clients at the drug clinic involved in any of this? And I'm just asking in this problem. This is all nothing derogatory against anyone. If the council has any answers to these questions, I wish they'd come up with them now. No answers.
Dick, I've talked to that guy, the guy that owns the whole complex. I talked to him for over an hour and a half, and then I went to the chief. They set up a meeting with that gentleman and whoever else, the mayor, maybe. And the problem is, and it does directly go back to that, the whatever you want to call that place, the clinic. But these people working at these stores are being told by their bosses to avoid all trouble, and if it isn't hundreds and hundreds of dollars, to let them go. And I told that gentleman that's what's going on. Our police blotter, I think, or whatever you want to call it, I believe it's gone up 200% in that area. 200% just for that block. That's not answering your question, but I'm trying to tell you that some of the causes and some.
Has anyone approached the clinic at all?
Yeah, I believe the mayor has.
Yes, Chief.
We did have a meeting with the representatives from the clinic as well as the representatives from the ownership of the property there that has Save-A-Lot and Walden, as well as security, the head of security for the clinic here that is also the same as the head of security for the clinic in Buffalo. We did come up with some plans. They have put them in place for better security and for monitoring. They changed their transportation company. They have issues with the vans that were transporting them. This was probably a month or so ago, and it has helped out with the situation so far. It has some of the issues they were having, the way we've addressed them along with the management and the security staff have helped to make it better.
So the councilman is right, there's the 200%.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to look at the numbers. I know they did go up.
That's what I'm being told.
Since the clinic's been involved.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Again, there's nothing derogatory against anyone here,
No,
especially the mayor.
time's up, sir.
I'm just saying there's nothing derogatory against anyone, especially the mayor, because I grew up with him. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ma'am?
Who did you vote?
I am Linda Bradigan. I reside at 146 West 6th Street, 2 houses from Brigham Road. I was here recently and spoke about 3 issues. I'm aware that West 6 isn't being paved this year, but I tried to make the point it should have been. West 6th Street is busier than you might know. Secondly, I addressed the poor restoration done by a subcontractor after the water main replacement. Third, I described the ongoing issues on a neighboring property. It is that issue that I want to give time to, since I ran out of time before. Now, I know there are many more important things that you all have to deal with, but if you drive West 6th Street, you will notice that the majority of property owners take care of their homes. You will see new roofs, new siding, attractive landscaping, mowed lawns, and so forth. We care. I have had many interactions with our building inspector regarding the adjacent property at the corner of 6th and Brigham. I know you've all seen it. I recently called about the van that's been parked for many months. The hood doesn't close, nor does the passenger door. It's been filled with cardboard boxes and other stuff, and plywood has been leaning against the back, covering up the license plate. We all can guess there is no license plate. I called to see what's legal and what's not. I always have very nice conversations with the building inspector. I was told such a vehicle must be moved after 7 days. I asked, well, what happens when that's ignored? And I was told it could be towed. But here's the hitch. 1, find a company willing to tow it. 2, find the money to pay the company willing to tow it. I'm sure it would be added as an easily ignored lien to the property taxes. I asked about the non-permanent storage unit that has been there easily 3 years. I was told there is now an ordinance, somehow unenforceable for the current situation. Drive by and take a look at the front steps, the overgrown shrubbery, the amount of flammables stacked in and around the structure. I give you permission to walk up my driveway and take a peek over the fence at their swimming pool with the chartreuse water. Everything you see has been there for a long, long time. So why am I here? To ask the Common Council to do whatever is a path forward to addressing such issues. The building inspector needs ordinances with some power to give the department some clout, to help neighborhoods all over the city, but especially the 2nd Ward. Our neighborhood deserves better. We deserve to be supported by our elected officials as we do everything right. Thank you for listening and your consideration.
Thank you. Bradigan, thank you.
I have a couple questions for the department head. Brandy, didn't we have a plan for 6th Street in 2023?
Absolutely. And also the grass area there, I reserved. I heard from Councilman Nichols, who's a friend, Ms. Bradigan, that she might like to do her sidewalk. So we reserved money, and I'd like to do the lawn restoration at the same time we do your sidewalk, if that works for you.
But the road.
You don't want to do the sidewalk? That's fine. We'll fix where there's a gas shut off, it's settled, and there's a water shut off too. So we'll do a little bit of lawn restoration there, and we'll address the sidewalk issue in another year.
But she's 100% right about that street, all the way.
Absolutely.
All the way up past the high school. She's 100% right.
But the 2 streets that we did needed it, Clover and Robert.
And Al, I did call you on that issue with the truck there, and you got an update on that?
I'll talk to the other people in the office and see where we're at. I personally have not done anything on that one, but I'll see what.
Richard, do you have anything from legal to add to that?
Yeah, we're very familiar with that house. The issue you have is the person who lives there isn't the title holder of the property. He has a land contract. The title holder is an LLC out of state. The ordinance that you'd like changed is the New York State Constitution, because unfortunately it's not a city ordinance issue, it's a New York State constitutional issue. Long-arm jurisdiction is something that the state Supreme Court has as the court of general jurisdiction, where we can reach out and grab a defendant in another state. Dunkirk City Court has a limited jurisdiction as all city courts, and they're all feeling the same issue now with out-of-state ownership of property, where we can only reach out to the ends of the county and the 2 adjacent counties next to us. So we can't actually go after the actual property owner yet, unless we change state law. What we have done is put significant pressure at various points on the occupant, who's essentially a lessee with an option to buy. We don't think he'll ever buy, because frankly, I think he's living the Sanford and Son life and will never be able to afford said purchase. But he cleans up, and we get off his case, and then things just kind of settle back in again. So it's kind of a back and forth. And unfortunately, until we can poke at the actual property owner, we're kind of in a vicious cycle.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that explanation, because I've never heard that before, so I do appreciate it.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Nichols?
Yeah, I just want to say, remember, Randy, when I asked a couple of meetings ago, and you said we didn't sign off on the 6th Street project with the contractors, if we could get some help from them for getting 6th Street repaved in for that respect. And I don't know if anything has been followed through on that at all or not, or if we can ask them for some assistance for next year on getting it repaved.
For the paving, yeah, we could take a look at that. And I think it's going to be budgeted for paving for next year. Be my recommendation to the mayor to look at that. Okay. We did 4,000 cubic yards, square yards, I'm sorry, in each ward this year. And the 300 block of Robin and 300 block of Clover were terrible. Now that we've done some work on the tunnel, those needed it. So they took priority over 6th Street. 6th Street still needs some work done with the water line, so I didn't want to have 2 projects going at once. And it's going to be another 4,000 yards there. So we didn't have the money to do 6th Street at this time, but it's definitely at the top of the list for what I would recommend Councilman Bomano and the mayor look at for 2nd Ward for next year. And in terms of the settling by the 2 shut-offs, the gas shut-off and whatever, it's about 3 inches, but the grass is growing there. We can reseed it and make it even. Since we don't have to save the money for the 50/50 sidewalk program, we'll go ahead and do that. It's about 4 foot by 4 foot. We can have our guys do that. I don't think we have to have the contractor do that. So I'll have that receipted immediately.
Thank you. And Linda, I've been dealing with that location because my daughter lives in close proximity to that with Glenn, Allen, and Wanda for several years with that house. And I think right now it's the worst that it has been. And we all know what's going on with that cube that he's got in his yard, that he's doing his internet or SD or whatever selling that he's doing out of that and conducting a business. But I'm in agreement with Marty, when they destroyed the front steps of that house, it just made it more deplorable. And the smell from that swimming pool is atrocious. But we've been dealing with it for quite a while, just so you know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else on the privilege of the floor? Going once, twice, 3 times, floor is closed. Communication from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to acknowledge and thank all of our staff members involved with the Halloween activity held at City Hall yesterday. We had hundreds of city residents here that enjoyed the activities that we had, and it was just good to be around all the kids that were very excited. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Communication from the public and petitions. I don't believe we have any. Is that correct?
I have none, sir.
Okay. All right, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Can I start with our assessor, Erica Munson?
As part of National Veterans and Military Families Month, the Assessor's Office is encouraging all honorably discharged veterans to contact our office to discuss exemption eligibility. There's 3 different exemptions, and we would like to make a push in November to get everyone eligible on one of those exemptions. Our phone number is 716-366-9846. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Leskoviak.
Yes, I'd like to direct this question to Mike or Randy. People are still asking me about the project at Wright Park, around Wright Park, that the Chautauqua County Soil and Water Department are completing. And I know that, Mike, you spoke about it at the last meeting, but I think it bears repeating again. I was wondering if you would kindly talk about that again.
I'll start and I'll hand it off to Mike. It's a project, the easterly branch of Hyde Creek, that I'll date myself. It starts below Great Lakes Printing and then comes across the street and goes through some yards and through Wright Park, and it's been pretty overgrown for a long time. And I'd like to do a shout out to our county soil and water conservation people who put this project together. Massive project that's been very well received by the neighbors. And Cassie Pinkowski and Dave Span of the Soil and Water Conservation, Chautauqua County employees, put that all together. It looks fantastic. And a little more of the details, Mike can probably put you up on.
Yeah, basically what he said. And also they'll be removing all the invasive species through there. They'll be doing some replanting afterwards. Both culverts underneath the roads will be replaced. It's looking pretty good, and it's only going to get better.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Vince, regarding the Lakeshore Drive Streets project, I hear that the installation of the lighted pillar is up. I have yet to see it. The city electrician completed that, but I am also wondering about the striping and painting on the crosswalk to the pier and the pedestrian crossing poles. Any word on when this will be completed?
That's coming in the next couple of weeks with the availability of Access Striping, the company.
It's in the works and schedule. We just don't have a firm date on that yet.
Okay, thank you. Citizens, I wanted to ask if you'd like to join the veteran flag efforts I'm leading on Thursday, November 3rd at 6 p.m. at City Hall, second floor, Mayor's Conference Room. A few of us DHS Class of 76 alumni are getting together to implement a program similar to hometown heroes that one may see in other municipalities in honor and remembrance of veterans. And the next Economic Development Committee meeting is Monday, November 7th at 4 p.m. in City Hall, Mayor's Conference Room. The principal topic will be how Dunkirk can become a Tree City USA, which can open opportunities for extra funding, perhaps for nature parks at the Point or Battery Point, or ridding all of the ash trees. So that's all I have to say today. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Bomano?
Yes, Mike,
Yes,
give us
sir.
an update with the street work going on New York Avenue and in Swan and up in that area.
That's an ongoing project. The Candy Company is doing that project for us. They're basically installing more valves on our 20-inch main to firm up our water service to the area, and also they'll adding more fire protection for that area.
Is there an end date or?
They should be wrapping it up pretty soon.
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're coming along very nicely, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Councilman Stoyl?
Yeah, I want to piggyback on Mr. Marco, Officer Marco, retired. I want to congratulate the chief. I know he's here.
Can't see you behind the
I'd like that TV moved next meeting. On his midnight shift. Very alert work. Took another gun and some money and drugs off the street. And I don't want to see or hear any bad spin-off on this tomorrow. Like they're back. These guys are gone. They're off the street. The car's gone, the drugs are gone, the gun is gone. The money, well, that's gone too. So, Chief, if you could pass on that congratulations to your night shift for me, I'd appreciate it.
I certainly will, Judge, and thank you again for bringing that up. Our guys and girls are out there every single day doing the best for the community that they can.
As always, I'll make it short and turn it over to Radio WDOE.
Councilwoman Nichols?
Yeah, I just have a few things, just never mind. Randy, Mike, is all the dredging done in Lake Erie for now? Are they still out there? I didn't see the...
Yeah,
They're still out there.
they're still
They're
working
still out
on it.
there?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it was too early. They're later in the day that I'm by there that they're bringing in, the tugboats bringing them in. How long will they be here for, do you know?
Until they're done, basically. It's hard to say.
Stop, that's not the answer.
Well, it is. It's not like we're done on this date.
They don't have a time frame for when they should be finished.
They have to go back to Detroit. If they want to get out of here as quick as possible, the November winds. 3 years ago, we had the same date, we had a big storm that took our wall apart.
Right.
So, they're going to want to get back as quick as they can. So I would say 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay, thanks. I know many people have probably driven through the Point and saw that our city crew was taking down some trees. Mike, do you want to give us the progress on that and the plan of why it's happening that way?
Yeah, Parks and Streets are working together on that. There was about 200 trees that needed to come down. They're basically dropping them on the ground as quick as they can, and then they're coming back and chopping them up and getting rid of the wood, stuff like that. That'll continue, weather permitting, until the rest of them are down.
So they're going to fall them first and then go back and cut them up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that'll lead me to the next question about the many residents that have written letters on having trees in their neighborhood taken down and have not been so far. And they've already been marked with the orange X. What's happening with that situation? And the second part of that is, has Kravitz been contacted to do the cuttings of the trees that they were contracted to do within the city that are within power line range?
Yes, ma'am. The Kravitz is working on their list. Andy Bone talked to them today about it. As far as the trees that we have on our internal list, as we've said before, the guys are knocking them off, and just as soon as they get 4 trees cut down, 4 more come on the list. So they are doing it weather permitting as their schedule permits, but they're making good progress.
And if no one has noticed or gone on Lucas Avenue to our city barns, our city guys have constructed 2 new gates. We're going into the city barns. That has been a long time coming, and we have such talent there that can do the job, and they did it in-house, and I'm very proud of them, and it looks very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Extend the thanks to the guys.
Will do.
You want to give us an update on the projection of leaf pickup?
At this point, I have to speak with Director Woodbury and the mayor, but our tentative plan is we'll put out a public service announcement in the paper. Our plan is next week to start with bags and barrels, go around as usual, and then the following week tentatively we'll do loose leaf pickup.
Okay.
And as always, we ask the residents to put them at the curb, not in the street, because they clog up our receivers.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's late in our season, but early in the season. Can we start possibly checking with CSX if they could come out in the spring or somehow put it on their calendar about getting the viaducts checked and painted? They've not been, except for one, and that was when we had a boat show here, the one viaduct that was painted, the railroad overpass. If they could come out and just take a look at it, or they're in deplorable conditions. They look awful. And I don't know if we can start now and maybe by springtime they can answer us back if they're going to take care of it or what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, that's something we should definitely look into. I think that's going to be a tough task, but we'll get it figured out.
And I don't know how our mayor waved his magic wand when the one got painted, but one looks really nice and the rest are terrible.
If I could say, we have a new track master between Erie and Buffalo for CSX, and that person worked with me and the mayor to get the crossing fixed on William Street. We had worked with a previous track master for years and years trying to get that fixed and no response. The new track master, who's a native of Forestville, is very responsive to our area, so in my recommendation, the mayor and I and Mike contact that track master about what you talk about. We agree. We'll try to get it scheduled.
Okay. I do want to add to what the mayor said about, and the Halloween happening at City Hall yesterday was phenomenal. Ryan had texted me when I asked him, and he said just about 400 children passed through the doors. It was really nice. Sergeant Terrain did, in his group of junior Rasta kids, they did a great job entertaining the little ones outside. It was, I mean, Erica was dressed up as, I think, Pooh. It was a really nice event for everybody. It was hectic, it was warm in here, but it was very enjoyable. It was a nice change of pace, and we didn't get wet. It really was. It was fun. Remember to change your clocks back, bounce back on Sunday this week coming up. And if you have not voted, please go out and vote on Tuesday, November 8th. And I just want to say something, and I know the police chief will find humor in this. Someone sent me something. With all our city roads being resurfaced, the speed limit is still 35 miles an hour, unless you want us to put the potholes back.
It's actually 30.
30. Well, they sent me 35, so I'm just repeating it.
The rest of the streets in the city are 30.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Could I, according to leaves, that's why I'm going to jump in here.
Okay.
Mike or Brandy, when the guys come around for the leaves, you're telling us not to put them in the street, which I know why, but are they picking up from the sidewalk to the street?
From the sidewalk to the curb, yeah.
Right, I want to make sure of that, because, you know.
Yeah, we have a vacuum and we have a loader with a clam bucket on it that can grab them. It's pretty easy to they don't need to be in the street. It's really in the way for us. We do come back at the final stage. The guys do a great job. The final sweep is actually the street sweeper cleaning up the street after it's done. So if we can start, if the same place between the sidewalk and the curb is also the snow storage area for, I didn't want to bring the S word up this early in the year, but it will happen eventually. But say that between the sidewalk and the curb is where we want the leaves, and it's where eventually we put the S stuff, and then we can pick it up from there. Thanks.
I just wanted to make that clear, because sometimes that doesn't happen.
Chico, I just have one more thing as well. There is a new store that opened up on Central Avenue, and it's called Kay's Creation. She has gift items in there. It's 324 Central. It's the old atrium building there. She has floral gift items, and she does help people with Medicare and Medicaid and Medicare, and she is a certified representative for that. And her hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. So stop down and visit her store. It's very nice. I was there last week to welcome her to the city. I'm done.
Okay. Ed?
I have a letter from the Dunkirk Historical Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum, October 27, 2022. Dear city officials, the Lighthouse Board would like to take this opportunity to request that the city of Dunkirk consider looking for grants that would protect Point Gratiot Park, the lighthouse grounds, and Cedar Beach from further erosion. Over the past several years, the storm on Lake Erie have been getting increasingly worse, causing the shoreline to erode at a faster pace. With each storm, the shoreline is getting closer to the road through the park and the lighthouse tower causing concern. At one point in time, there was approximately 54 feet from the cliff edge. 2 years ago, we had to purchase a new fence and move it 10 feet from the original fence line, and there are already a few spots where the shoreline is almost within a few feet of the existing fence. In a few years, the thousands of visitors we attract to the city will be unable to climb the observation deck, which would decrease the number of visitors to our fair city. The Dunkirk Historical Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum is a non-for-profit organization dedicated to restoration and preservation of the Dunkirk Lighthouse. We also operate, maintain the Veterans Museum and other exhibits on the ground. We have been working diligently on upgrading our buildings and displays. We have recently completed reciting the Coast Guard building along with replacing the air conditioning units. None of this would be possible without the support of visitors, members, and the organizations that donate to our museum. Your commitment to the Dunkirk Historical Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum, as evident by your generosity, will enable us to serve our residents of Chautauqua County and all of our Western New York. Donations are tax deductible as charitable contributions for federal income tax purposes. Under 501c3, the donor receives no goods or services. Thank you sincerely, David L. Briska, Treasurer.
Thank you, Ed. Received and filed. Okay, and my portion... Sir? What? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, that's right.
So I have a notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the public hearing on Mayor Rose's proposed 2023 city budget will be held on November 15, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. in the Common Council Chambers, City Hall, 342 Central Avenue, Dunkirk, New York. All interested citizens will have an opportunity to give written and oral comments on the proposed 2023 city budget at that time. The proposed 2023 city budget is available for public inspection at the City Clerk's Office, City Hall, Dunkirk, New York, 14048, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. daily.
Thank you. And to go hand in hand with that, the schedule for the Common Council to start budget review. We are going to start this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. We're going to come back next week, Tuesday. And hopefully, if everything goes good, we're going to clean it up the following Saturday.
We're going to tell them no Saturdays.
Okay, let's go to unfinished business.
I have none, sir.
Pre-filed resolution 88.
Number 88, resolution authorizing the agreement for Advanced Life Support Intercept Services, WCA Services Incorporated, and the City of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 89, resolution accepting grant for Summer Better Than Others Camp, Chautauqua County.
Any discussion, council? Hearing-
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried. New business.
Have none, sir.
Can I have a motion for
Yes.
adjournments? I got Nichols with a second by Stoyl.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large
I'm not
D'Amico.
coming anymore.
Aye, carried. Adjourned.
Huh? We did.